are stunned as the Kremlin produces a dramatic upheaval. Georgy Malyankov resigns as premier, confessing failure. Khrushchev, Communist Party boss, announces the selection of a new dictator. Marshal Nikolai Bulganin is now top man. A glorious era of history ends with the retirement of Sir Winston Churchill. The Queen pays rare tribute to a commoner as all England is moved by a sense of history. Austrians rejoice as their country regains its freedom. Russia, Britain, France, and the United States draft the four-power treaty that ends 17 years of military occupation. French troops march out. American forces depart. The Russians troop past people silently thankful. And the British Tommies prepare to leave. Austria is free. Premier Bulganin and party boss Khrushchev arrive in Geneva, affable and smiling, raising high hopes for a new world atmosphere. President Eisenhower attends the summit conference, offering constructive and sincere proposals designed to allay distrust. Later events prove the so-called Geneva spirit turns out to be over-optimistic. Results, 0. Russia continues the Cold War. Adenauer's visit brings about a resumption of diplomatic relations and a release of German prisoners of war, but a mere token contingent comes home. To find an infant son, now a strange youth. Or to cause heartbreak because someone is still missing. The U.S. 7th Fleet readies for a Formosa crisis as nationalist soldiers and civilians are evacuated from war-threatened Tachan Island, a first step in the tightening of Formosa defenses. Military installations of any value are destroyed. Mission accomplished. Sugarloaf Mountain looks down on lovely Rio as the Brazilian city welcomes the 36th Eucharistic Congress, attended by high prelates and some 700,000 Catholics from all over the world, rededicating themselves to the faith. To the south, revolution flares up in Argentina, and rioting and violence rocked Buenos Aires when persecution of the church inflames the people, weary of 10 years of Juan Perón's dictatorship. His iron rule ends and he flees the country. A provisional government takes over. But turmoil remains in Argentina as political factions keep the nation in an upheaval. Few of the original representatives are present at San Francisco as the presiding officer, Elko Van Kleppen, ends the 10th anniversary session of the United Nations. Let's look back 10 years. A decade ago, the delegates of many nations first gathered here, believing that a new world era was at hand. Secretary of State Stettinius opened the session.
The Conference of the United Nations.
The hopes then voiced by President Truman are still the hopes of tomorrow.
In your hands rests our future. By your labors at this conference, we shall know if suffering humanity is to achieve a just and lasting peace.
The name of Hurricane Connie might well have meant Connecticut, so devastating were the floods she caused by her record-breaking rainfall. The Coast Guard and civil defense units rescue many victims. Small streams are swollen into raging torrents, and more than 200 are drowned or missing. Communications are swept away. Communities are isolated without food or supplies. A city's main street is washed out. Damage amounts to $500 million in New England's greatest disaster. despite making a shambles of homes, but miraculously causing only 2 deaths. Doomtown, USA, a study for survival. Less than a mile from blast center, cameras record impact on typical homes. Knowledge gained here is vital for defense. To stop enemy aircraft, an airborne missile, the Falcon, is perfected, an electronic miracle. Enemy aircraft is located by radar, and the Falcon is launched. With deadly accuracy, it is guided to the target. Watch it track down the robot plane. Weapon, America's biggest and newest jet bomber, goes into squadron service with a Strategic Air Command. Intercontinental range over 6,000 miles without refueling, combat ceiling of 50,000 feet, and a speed estimated at over 600 miles an hour. That's the B-52, threatening devastating counterattack to any aggressor, the mightiest bomber in history. Medical news in history. Dr. Jonas Salk discovers a vaccine that promises to wipe out childhood's crippling and killing enemy, polio. Anxious parents are thrilled and grateful, responding to one of the greatest mass inoculations in medical annals. But it is the kids who have to face the needle. And it takes courage and effort to hold back tears. A glorious chapter in medical history is written. The president is stricken with a heart attack. A stunned nation prays for his recovery, and men and women of every faith give thanks when news of his convalescence is received. The nation's capital welcomes an honored veteran who comes back to his job on Veterans Day, November 11th. Ike has won his greatest battle, to the relief of millions who value his great leadership.